So, you've got a killer idea, an amazing product, but there's one decision that can make or break everything that comes next. Where on earth do you launch it? Seriously, get this wrong, and you might be finished before you even start. But get it right? Well, you've just built the perfect launchpad for success.
Okay, let's just dive right in. Before we even think about pulling up a map, we have to get our heads straight about what we're actually trying to do here. This isn't just about throwing a dart at a map. It's about asking the right strategic questions from the get-go.
I mean, just think about it for a second. If you had to launch your business tomorrow, where would you go? This is the question every single founder has to face. And let's be honest, the answer can feel totally overwhelming.
And I'm not being dramatic here. We need to be crystal clear about the stakes. Picking the wrong pilot market isn't some tiny little misstep you can just walk back. It will burn through your cash, it'll give you misleading data, and it can absolutely kill your entire dream before it ever gets a chance to fly.
But hey, don't panic. There's a way to de-risk this whole thing. We're going to borrow a framework that basically acts as a strategic mission plan. Think of it as a checklist that turns what feels like a huge gamble into a calculated, smart operation. Let's walk through it.
First things first on any mission, you've got to scout the terrain. This is your intelligence gathering phase. We're looking for a clear, data-driven picture of your potential launch site. No guesswork, no gut feelings allowed here.
And the number one thing we're scouting for is evidence of market fit. But listen, we're not just asking, hey, do people kinda want my product? No. The real question is, do the people in this specific location have a problem that my product solves so well they'd be crazy not to use it? That's the bar.
So, how do we find that? Well, first you have to break down the who. Look, it's not enough to just pick a big city. You need the right kind of people in that city. Does the average income there actually support your price? Is your target age group hanging out there? This is your very first and most critical filter.
All right, next up, you need to know who's already playing in the sandbox. But here's the secret sauce. You're not looking for a market with zero competition. That probably means there's no market. You're looking for a market with complacent or lazy competition. Where are they dropping the ball? What are customers complaining about? Boom, that's your way in.
But here's a huge warning sign you gotta look out for. A market can look absolutely perfect on paper, but be a total nightmare in reality. Are there a ton of local rules and regulations? Does the local culture even vibe with your brand? Can you physically get your product to customers? You have to spot these roadblocks before you're committed.
Okay, so we've got the 30,000-foot view. Now it's time to zoom all the way in and focus on the people who are actually going to make or break this thing for you, your future customers. Let's talk about connecting with the locals. This question seems simple, but it's incredibly important. You see, it's one thing to know your customers exist somewhere in a city. It's a whole other challenge to figure out if you can actually reach them. Are they all in one neighborhood? Do they belong to certain online groups? You have to know where they are.
And you have to understand how they think. A quote like this is so revealing, right? It tells you about a local buying habit. In some towns, trust is everything, and a slick social media ad just won't cut it. In others, it's all about convenience and speed. You have to know the local playbook.
And that's exactly why you need a specific local marketing plan. Forget that generic one-size-fits-all campaign. For your pilot, you need to be in the channels people there already use and trust. Maybe that's a neighborhood Facebook group, or maybe it's sponsoring the local Little League team. You have to go where they are.
All right, so we found our market, we know who our customers are, and we think we know how to reach them. Now comes the hard part, the brass tacks. Can you actually run your business here without it costing a fortune? You've got to figure out your cost of entry, and I mean a real, hard number. This isn't just your ad budget. We're talking about everything. Renting a tiny office space, getting the right business licenses, maybe hiring your first local employee, and getting your initial supply chain set up. You need to know exactly how much fuel this mission is going to burn.
And remember, you can't do this alone. Almost every business relies on local partners. Maybe it's a super reliable delivery service, a manufacturer, or even a local marketing agency that just gets the area. Finding and vetting these people early on is an absolutely critical step.
And speaking of partners, your entire supply chain has to be rock solid for this specific place. This isn't just about finding suppliers. It's about stress testing the whole system. Can your trucks handle the local roads? Have you literally timed how long a delivery takes? One broken link in this chain can sink the whole launch, which is why running this check is non-negotiable.
Okay, this brings us to the final phase of our mission plan, and you could argue it's the most important one.
Before you spend a single dollar, before you print a single flyer, you have to define in crystal clear terms what a win actually looks like.
See, success can't just be a fuzzy feeling. It has to be a set of cold, hard numbers. These are your validation metrics. Did you get your first 1,000 customers? Did you hit your revenue goal? These numbers are what tell you, objectively, whether this idea has legs.
But it's not just about the numbers. You also need the stories behind them. Your plan absolutely has to include a way to collect feedback from real customers, through surveys, interviews, whatever works. The why behind the data is often where the real learning is. And here, my friends, is the genius move. You have to plan for both success and failure before you even launch. If you hit your numbers, what's the immediate next step to scale? If you miss them, what's the plan to adjust or pivot? Having this decided ahead of time stops you from making emotional decisions when things get crazy.
When you boil it all down, this whole framework, this entire mission plan, is designed to help you answer one single powerful question. It's not, what's the best city in the world? It's, is this the right location to test our core ideas and validate our business before we bet the farm on scaling up?
And that's really the big idea here. Choosing your first market isn't a geography problem. It's a strategy problem. The perfect location isn't a spot on a map. It's the place that gives you the clearest, fastest, and most affordable answers about the future of your business. Choose wisely.